What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Super Beamer Brothers. Today we are working on the gray E30 back there, and all we're gonna do today, I mean, I make it sound easy, but it's actually not that easy because I've never done it before, is that we're gonna take these Mishimoto oil coolers and run AN lines to do engine oil and the automatic transmission fluid. And that one's kind of tough because I've never even dealt with the ZF transmission. So this should be fun. I just wanted to take a quick second to actually show you guys the quality and finish of these oil coolers, because I'm really impressed, honestly. The finish is real nice. The paint is really durable. You can tell just how thick it is on there, and you can tell that it won't corrode easily or flake off or anything like that. Came with these caps on the fittings so that nothing gets in there, and they were sealed. They were like sealed in a bag. Had to cut it open, so you know nothing was really touching it. Not scratched or anything. They're built pretty well. This is the first time that I've ever bought anything Mishimoto, and if all their products look like this, I'm sure I'll be buying something from them again, or at least be purchasing it through John Smith Racing, which is actually where I got these from originally. And he's such a cool guy. He's actually my instructor at the college right now. But really good guy. He actually hooked it up with a really good price. So if you guys need anything Mishimoto in the San Diego area, John Smith Racing is the way to go. So let's get the fittings on there and let's keep it going. Word of advice, if you're gonna be going this route, just know that you got to read the size of the fitting, the outlets and the inlets on the actual oil cooler, because in my case the Mishimoto is a -10 AN type fitting, and the kit that I bought is actually for a -8, so I had to use a -10 to a -8 reducer, and I would rather not run a reducer, but I went ahead and threw some Teflon and just made it work. But if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't use the reducer. I would just go straight -10 to -10 fitting, but I had already ordered everything and figured why not, and I kind of need to get this car going. So just a note, we're back and we're with the E34 today. Oh, and the E30. We just do this every day. Would you care to explain what happened?
Well, because this is the second time that this car overheats for some odd reason, maybe because of lack of maintenance. We're gonna have to get the head out and see if the head cracked, and if it did, we're gonna have to replace it. But yeah, you know, it's gonna be fun. I wish I could do an M52 swap, but the budget's not there. So
M52 would be nice. If you guys recall, or if you follow us on Instagram, if you haven't yet, actually follow us here. I'll post up the tag or the handle. But if you follow our stories, we actually posted it when this thing overheated. It actually overheated on the 15 going towards Temecula, and my brother was driving. I was just there to help him, or rescue him. But as soon as I got there, the oil was already mixing with the coolant, so we suspect that it is a head gasket breach, but we just don't know how severe it is. What's actually left to do? Just the manifolds?
well, I mean, it's a pretty easy pull, because you take off the exhaust, or you remove the exhaust manifold, you separate everything pretty much, but we haven't flushed it. We still need to flush it.
So would you say it's as easy as doing the M20?
I think this is probably just as easy. I've done a top end rebuild on an M52, and this is like a baby M52 minus the vanos.
Non-vanos.
Non-vanos, yeah. So this is the M50, just the M50 before the technical update.
They made an M50 with the vanos, right?
Yeah, the M50 B25, I think. Yeah. But
nice.
This is your regular M50.
For realsies.
So I'm about to remove the intake manifold. I just separated the exhaust manifold.
So the intake manifold on this is pretty easy to remove, right? Well,
it has a bracket, and see that here's a bracket. So it's a couple of bolts, and if I can remember correctly, they're attached to the block. It should be fairly simple, and I figure we can take the head out, within the next hour. The head will be
next hour. The head will be out.
Yeah, and then we got to figure out the bolts for the head. Are the order for them for the removal. But if we don't want to warp that head, we should definitely take them out in order.
The order meaning like the sequence, right?
Yeah, the sequence. Yeah, the sequence.
Cool. All right, guys. While my brother is taking care of his head on the E34, as I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna start building the AN lines and figuring out the placement of the coolers on the actual radiator frame support on the E30. And it should be pretty straightforward. I mean, the only thing that's gonna actually hold us back is not having the right fittings, or yeah, I guess you could call them the fittings, the AN line fittings. So we're all mocked up on the bracket. So we bolted it just to what's going to be our bracket onto the car, and you can see that they sit pretty nicely. They're sturdy. You'll see that they're going to fit really close to what OEM fitment is, and that's what we want. We want it to be discreet. I'm not really into showing off oil coolers, but I mean, at least knowing that they're there and sturdy is going to be great. That is drying. We'll go ahead and head over and see what my brother's doing. He should be at the point where he's going to take the head out of the car off the block. Hopefully we can catch him actually doing the removal process so you can see what that's like. So this badass right here, he is about to get the head off the block. And is there any advice to people trying to do this at home?
Well,
because you've done a few.
Yeah, if you've never taken one of these things out, it's fairly heavy. So you may have noticed that there's some bolts still stuck in there. Some of those bolts, if you don't take them out, they're going to try to impede the head from coming out. So I advise you take your magnet and you know, you pull them out. Okay, so there's one. It just fell in the tub down there.
And these bolts are not reusable.
Definitely not reusable. You know, these are like what they call, they stretch.
Torque to yield.
Torque to yield, unless you're going to go with ARP. Is it ARP?
ARP, yeah.
Yeah, then you definitely want to reuse them, but not these. If you're going to warranty them in, save them.
Warranty meaning FCP Euro, if you guys aren't familiar. FCPEuro.com is a website where they sell primarily Euro parts, I think nothing but Euro parts. And you can actually send in your old parts as a lifetime warranty for the same.
You should be clear that, you know, you have to buy the part.
You have to buy the part. All right, so we're gonna pull it. Do you need help?
So these guides tend to break. If they're old, they're very brittle, they'll break. If you have a second hand who's going to help you pull these heads out, you might want to get that person to, you know, keep that guide straight.
Meaning the chain guide, right? The timing chain guide?
Yeah. And also align the guide so that it easily comes out, so it eases out. Now be careful, because there's two dowels underneath the head, and if you rest it and let it slide, you will damage the surface. So there we go. There's a chain, and there's a guide. It'll wedge itself. So I'm gonna have you hold it while I pull it out, along with the guide. See the guide?
Right here?
Yeah. There you go. Ready?
Ah, my glove!